Let's start now clipping away and cropping images. We need the file brochures here, which I add a few things to it. I will come to file and I will say open, and you have the brochure here, and we click open. Now, one word of caution. If you want to do the clipping mask and so on, the clipping mask and the image have to be in the same layer. For example, if you take the layers here, you will not have several layers, and layer 7 is empty. So now I want to work on the brochure. Well, better to be in the same layer or make a new layer for my image and my mask. But now I'm going to select this, so I am in the layer I want to work in. Once you selected the layer, it's not going to be deselected unless you select something else outside. So I'm going to select the layer and go to property. Now let's bring an image in. File, place, and let's take the images here, for example, mountains. Okay, and make sure it's not link, it's not template, it's not show import options, just place. Now you wait a second, wait for the image to appear at this thumbnail here, because then you can click and drag to get the image the size you would like, and it's a big image, no problem. Now, first thing you do is arrange and send to back. The image should be in the back. Whatever you want to mask should be in the back, and the mask should be in front. Simple. Let's draw a rectangle here. This will be our mask. I'm gonna come from the anchor to intersect. Here you are. Now, it doesn't matter if the mask has a color, has a stroke, it really doesn't matter. But for us to see it well, let's give it no color and a simple stroke so we can see the mask itself. Now, I will go for the selection tool and select the image and the mask. So it's our rectangle here, you know, it's in red, it's selected. The image is selected. And simply come over here, there is make clipping mask. Here you are, it's done. Very nice. But now you notice like, okay, this is beautiful, but I want to move the image around. Well, there are several ways to do it. The best way as a beginner to do is to come to object and you come to clipping mask. This is what we have done. It's called the clipping mask. And you have make, we already made it. We don't want to release it, meaning we don't want to cancel the clipping mask. We want to edit the contents. Now the image is available to me. Now notice guys, the content is the image and the mask is the rectangle. So I'm not going to edit the rectangle from here. I can edit it from outside. But here I can edit the image, place it the way I would like, which is the best view. For example, here you are. And you click outside. Fine. Now another way to edit the image inside is go for the direct selection tool, the black arrow, and point on the mask and click. Since there is only an image behind, it's easy, it has selected the image. You come back to your selection tool and somehow you can now, stretch it or move it around the way you would like. And then you click out and here you are, it's done. That's two ways to do it. I prefer you go to edit content. Fine, if you don't like your work anymore, I want to release the image, I want to put a new image, you come to object and you clipping mask and say release. And here you are, there is no clipping mask anymore. Click out to deselect and selected only the image, but you notice the rectangle here has lost its stroke and the fill. So you need to give it a stroke to see it again. Cool, I will undo this. Notice guys, it doesn't have to be a rectangle. It can be any shape. Let's take the star for example. Draw a star, press option. We have this option for the border, for the points. That's cool. Go to direct selection and adjust it, make it round a bit. Go back to the selection tool. And of course, let's give it a stroke here because we lost it from the last edit. Go to file, place. I'm going to place the same image, which is mountain, and place it over here. So I'm going to do something like this. That's cool. Of course, arrange, send to back. I can see both of them. Now, I make sure they are both in the same layer when I select them. So I'm going to select both of them. They are in layer 2, the same. That's pretty good. And go to properties. And I have make clipping mask. Here you are. It's done. Now, the shape is still available to you. And you can change the way you would like. If you want to through the black arrow and the white arrow, you can, size the shape you would like. This is done. Let's move on to the next video where we'll do the rest and learn about compound path. Now we are going to see how we are going to clip an image inside multiple shapes. Okay, you can see the foot, you can see this one over here, and some hexagons and stories like this. So let's start. Let's take this shape over here. You notice that this shape, first of all, it's in the own layer, that's layer 3. But I have several shapes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know what. Let's put an image here. So we go to File, Place, and let's go to Texture. Okay, and we do the texture just like this. And of course, Properties, Arrange, Send to Back. Let's go back to Layers, and we are in the same layer. Pretty good. Now, if I select everything, and from Properties, I go to Make Clipping Mask, it will do a strange and weird clipping mask. Sometimes nothing. So I'm gonna undo this. What you have to do is to create a compound path, meaning making all these shapes as a single path. I'm gonna select all the shapes, remove the image. I deselect the image by pressing Shift and clicking on it, and go to Object, and you have compound path here. In the next lecture, we see a lot about the compound path, and I'm gonna make the compound path. If I come back to layers here, and I look in my layer, I will see compound path. Pretty good. And I have the image. I'm gonna select both of them, come to Properties, and Make Clipping Mask. And here you are. This is how you combine shapes together using the compound path, and you put an image and you create a clipping mask. Same for these guys. So I'm gonna select them all, just to give you another example. Object, compound path, and Make. So I have a compound path. I can check, did I get a compound path? Yes. Let's bring an image, File, Place. Let's bring the mountains. I think it's good. And we do the mountain just over here. Let's go like this. Not too big. Fine. Properties and Arrange and Send to Back. I can see my shape. I'm going to select my shape. Notice now my shape is one, or all the shapes are one shape. And then I select the image and Make Clipping Mask, and beautiful. I did something small for you here. You can do exactly the same. You can select them all, go to Object and Compound Path, and bring an image, for example, Edit or File, Place, and let's take the color one now, and we want to place it just over here, just like this. Okay, and Arrange, Send to Back. I can see them all. Select all of them. Hopefully I'm in the same layer. Actually, I am. And then Object, Clipping Mask, Make, or you could have come to Properties. It seems I done a mistake. The clipping mask did not work. So I'm gonna select them all, and notice I do not have a compound path here. So I'm gonna go to Object, Compound Path, and Make again. And now I can see the compound path. That's very good. Select the image and the compound path, Object, and Clipping Mask, Make. And this is very nice. Okay, you can work a lot of things like this. By the way, I forgot to mention that editing is exactly the same. You can use your white arrow, come over, click on the mask or somewhere it's visible. Your image has been selected, you can see it. Go back with the black arrow and you can edit the image the way you would like, move it around or make it smaller, whatever. When you finish, just click out. Also, you can use the other option, Object, Clipping Mask, and Edit Content, and now you can edit your image. So it's exactly the same like using a single shape. If you select and come to Object and go Clipping Mask and Release. So now you have released the image from the mask. That's what you have done. Let's click out because they are both selected now and move the image. So you notice you have lost the fill and the stroke for these shapes. So it's good to give them a certain stroke to see them again. Cool, I will undo that and that and that and stay with the lovely clipping over here. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video with some text clipping just like this. And in this video we are going to see how to clip an image with text, or how to give a text a texture or a background or something like this, like an image. It's going to be pretty easy, by the way. So let's start. So I have a text here. It's a normal text, nothing special. Come to Properties, it has the April display font and it's black, nothing special at all. I'm gonna bring an image, so let's say File, Place. So we say Place, and okay, I chose this one, not bad at all, but it's not a good texture, so I'm gonna go like this. Okay, forgive me for the stretching, guys. Arrange and Send to Back. Now I'm gonna select both of them, as simple as this, and come over to Make Clipping Mask. Here you are. Now your text has the background for the texture that you have loaded. Now what's interesting here, the text is still available to you. You can edit it. For example, if you double click here, okay, and come to the end, for example, I can add more text. So simple and easy. We click out. Now notice I am now inside a group. Come to layers here and you find yourself in isolation mode here when you double click on the text. The way to exit the isolation mode is just clicking on this arrow out, and here you are. Now if you want to edit the image, I mean in this case it's not necessary, but you can come to clipping mask and edit content, and now I can see the image, I can see the binding of the image, I can adjust it the way I would like. In our case it really doesn't make a difference. In this tutorial I will explain to you how the compound path works and how it competes with the shape builder tool, and then we're gonna create this funny face here, maybe a bit better. Then we're gonna create this awesome shape here that is done very easily using the compound path. So let's start. So I'm gonna draw, for example, a rectangle over here, and then draw another circle just over here and change the color to anything you like. Then I'm gonna come over and with the selection tool, click and duplicate it over here. You can put another one if you like. So I'm gonna select them all. Now the concept of the compound path is gonna remove the top object from the bottom ones. Okay, so you have the 3 circles and the bottom object is the rectangle. So it's gonna remove the circles from the rectangle. Let's go see if it's true. We come to compound path and say make, and here you are, you punch some holes inside the rectangle. Now notice that the rectangle, even in my layer here, I can see only compound shape. I can actually go inside this like a group and do some changes, which is awesome, which is very nice. So here you are, this is the concept of the compound path. So I'm gonna delete this and do something nice. Okay, I'm gonna take a rounded rectangle and draw something just like this. Then take 2 squares or ellipses, sorry. Do one over here. Okay, give it a different color. So I'm gonna come to property and give it a color, for example, this guy. Then I'm gonna Control C and Control F. So I have another one on top. Shift and Option or Alt on the PC and make it smaller. And the inner one, I'm gonna make it black. Cool. Now I'm gonna select these 2 without the big one and just duplicate them and click, press Option and just move them over here with the Shift. Fine, that's very ugly. Now let's do another circle. So I'm gonna do a full circle just over here. Click and drag, Shift and Option. Okay, something like this. Go directly for the white tool, pick the top one from the circle, this top anchor, and take it down. And you have a very funny smiley. Then I'm gonna go for the rounded rectangle, and just do the nose. My purpose here is to have everything that is in red. Let's make them all red like this. Cut out from the rectangle. Let's adjust this guy a bit. So I want all the red shapes to be cut out from the rectangle itself. So I'm gonna select all of them except these 2 black ones. So I'm gonna deselect these black ones and simply go to Object, and I go to Compound Path and Make. And here you are. You've done it, guys. You know, it's still available to you, so you can adjust it after even cutting. Double click outside to exit the group itself. I'm gonna select all this, give it more sense. Come to Effect and come to Stylize and add a drop shadow. Something like this. You can play with drop shadow here, but it's looking cool with us. Let's put this guy aside. I'm gonna select everything and just put it aside. Let's do something more interesting that we couldn't have done with the shape builder tool. So I'm gonna select a star and click here. I want a 6-point star. That's my star. Then I'm gonna duplicate this star. So Control C, Control F on top and rotate it of 30 degrees. Notice it's a perfect rotation. They come quite symmetric. Select both of them. Now I could use the shape tool, for example, shape builder tool, to remove certain things if I know what I'm doing. It's gonna be complicated. But with the Compound path, you are going to remove everything that is on top from the bottom. And here you are. And now you have a very nice shape. Notice how it has done it. It has removed whatever is on top from the bottom, but has left where there is nothing. So this one didn't have a bottom, it has left it there. Very nice and very intelligent. Let's give it some nice color here. The first one, I'm going to give it this color. And then, of course, I said the first one, there will be another one, Control C, Control F, and rotate it only 10 degrees. Okay, so it shifts. Now, the second one, I'm going to give it this color, just over here. And Control C, Control F, rotate it another 10 degrees, and give it another color, which is this one will do. Okay, nice, cool. Let's select it all, put it in the middle. Now you have some awesome shapes, something geometric, something beautiful. Let's go now to effects and add a drop shadow, as simple as this. This drop shadow is fine. We can add the blur if you want to, or take down the blur, depending on what you want. You can offset it, the X and Y. You can increase the opacity if you like. And here you are. You have created a very awesome shape. Drawing inside is really awesome, and it's very easy to use. There are a couple of things you need to take care of and to understand, and then it will really do you a lot of favors when you're creating your graphics. I believe it's a beginner thing. It is not an advanced story. It's really very beginner, and it's very easy to use and makes life easier. Let's take an example here. I have a boy's face or a face, just like this. It has no fill. I'm going to remove the fill. Come to stroke is 1 is okay. And it has 2 eyes. One eye here and another eye just here. And both eyes, of course, have a white fill. I'm going to put the white fill. Now my purpose here in this artwork, I want to have a mask on top of the eyes. So I'm going to put a mask just over here. And it has to be black. And I want, of course, to draw it around the face. I'm going to take the eyes just for now and put them outside, okay? And then select the oval here. And I will really want to draw inside the oval. And I want the mask to appear, outside this oval. I can instruct that everything is drawn inside this oval. I select it and come over to this small button here. It's a very nice one. If you click on it, you will find Draw Inside. It's very hidden here, but let's say Draw Inside. So now you notice the dotted lines. That means you are going to draw inside this shape. Let me try it. I'll come over and draw the mask and then give it a black fill. Cool. It has drawn only the mask. Notice, guys, it has drawn only inside the oval. I can add more. Still, I'm in the editing mode of draw inside. Let's add something just like this, for example. Okay, and something just like this. Very cool. Let's take the eyes now. I'm going to double click outside. So I finish it editing. I'm going to take the eyes and just put them over here. I like it. It's good, but I would like to return the eyes to their normal one and put it over here. The mask is too big. How will I edit the mask? Very fine. I'm going to select it. I'm selecting the draw inside the oval. But now we come back to draw. You can't draw inside anymore. You notice, guys, it's great. Now exactly what happened. If you come to your layers here, you will notice we are working here. This is now a clipping group. The ellipse itself have become the clipping path, and you have inside some rectangles. Of course, the eyes are not inside. So now you cannot clip the group again. What you have to do is to edit the group. Very nice. Let's go to properties, and if you select it, you can double click now inside, and here you are. You see the advantage here that all these shapes I put here, all these rectangles are still available to me, and I can adjust them the way I would like. Now I double click outside, exit the group. I can really access them the way I would like. Now something important, if you select it, you might find here the option clip group, and you can say, okay, I can edit the clipping path, which you can do from here, and also I can edit the contents. But be careful. If I click over here, the contents is everything inside. So if I start, manipulating like this, I'm manipulating the 3 of them. Sometimes it's very useful, I have to admit. But in our case here, it doesn't work. If you try to select one of them, you can't really move it. It will select it just for the alignment purpose, maybe. It doesn't work. So to edit it, just double click. Or you can select any one of them. Now you are inside the group. You notice you are inside the clip group and you can edit everything. That is a way to work with the draw inside. Another way that might give you hell if you don't follow this procedure, let's take an ellipse, okay? And inside this ellipse, I don't want any color inside. I want to put a mesh or a grid. So I will come to rectangular grid. And before I do that, I'm gonna go and select draw inside. I'm gonna draw my grid. I will now exit. I will double click outside. Here you are, I put the grid inside the oval. Very useful. This is one of the difficult examples. Now I can double click inside and change the grid the way I would like. That is very practical. You imagine if you did that, for example, with the shape builder. It's going to take you a lot of work to get it done, and the edit will be almost impossible. So this is about the draw inside. Let's take a real example here. I have this beautiful giraffe here. And if you come to the layers here, I'm going to select this path. And you will notice that this path for the body is a single path here. It has been drawn. I drew it with the pen tool, and help with the curvature tool, something like this. But what's important, it is just a single path. Now I would like to give it texture. I want to give the giraffe here some texture. So I'm going to select the path and immediately go to draw inside. And then I can use the paintbrush tool or the pencil tool. Let's go for the pencil tool. Come to properties here and increase the stroke. Something like this, and give the stroke the roundness that we require. And simply I'm going to start drawing. Notice how it's going to happen. It's very interesting. I can give it more stroke and start drawing the way I would like, very negligently, because I know everything is going to be inside. And you can do a long one here, to color the feet if you like to, something like this. So actually it's very easy. Now you notice I put lots of shapes inside here. I finished my work here, double click. Oh, I need to edit something. I'm gonna come over here and double click. Don't double click twice, meaning I already double clicked. I went inside the clipping group. If I double click again, I will be inside this stroke here, which is useful because I can now adjust it. If I double click only once, now I can move it around, and of course I can scale it up and down, but I don't see it outside the clipping path or the body of the giraffe here. So this one I can make it bigger, I can move it, I can select all of them, by the way, except the clipping path itself. So I press shift click again to deselect, and maybe I'll change the color to something like brown or something better, something like this. Of course, guys, you want to draw something much more beautiful than I'm showing you. So we worked on the mask. I showed you how to do it. And we worked on the mesh, which was a pretty hard example, something very difficult to achieve in this simplicity. Let's take a complicated example. If I come over here, I know you're going to be greedy. You want to work certain things. I have one shape. I have another shape, another shape, another one, and something just like this. Okay, something, a mess. Let's put this guy just over here. And let's give them a fill. That's important. It's something like this. So now I would like to draw inside these guys. But if I select them all, go to draw inside, you notice it's shaded out, it's grayed out. You can't select this one. So you might think I will do a compound path. Compound path will work. But when you make it, you notice it's going to remove the front from the back. So we'll have holes here. If you're okay with it, that's very easy now. You can go and draw inside the way you would like. But if you're not okay with these white ones here, removing front from back, you can undo that. And simply you come to the Pathfinder here. So actually, I'm not talking about the Pathfinder. I'm just showing you this tip because I'm sure you're going to be creative and start doing things. And like, how does it work now? So you come to the first option. It is Unite. Click to Unite. Add click to create a compound shape. You don't want a compound shape. You don't care about compound shape. All you care about the Unite. You united them. Of course, now you notice, guys, that the inner strokes have disappeared and this is a united shape. But now the option of draw inside is available, and you can start working on it with a brush tool, whatever you like, any tool. Fun, guys. I love doing these things. This was a tip about the Pathfinder and the Unite. In case you want to do something complicated like this, I want the course to give you full information. Hope you enjoyed the drawing side, and move on to the next video with something even more awesome.